Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Urvashi Sharma, Associate Professor, Department of Journalism and Mass Communication from Jagannath University, Jaipur. And in today's session, we'll be focusing on online writing skills, where we'll be introducing you to online writing, social media writing skills, and etiquettes. So let us begin with the session. Features and characteristics of online writing. Before we delve into the future of online media writing, we must understand that online media is a technology leap from the earlier media. Every medium over the course of time evolved its own writing style to suit that particular medium. Whether it is newspaper, magazines, radio, or television news channels, each has its own style, rules, regulations, and guidelines of writing, but all have adhered to the basic tenets of news writing. The difference, however, is in types of language, words, length of the news, and its presentation. The guiding principles of clarity, conciseness, continuity, correctness, commonness, credibility, and completeness have remained common across the media. Also, each medium has its strength and limitations. The writing style attempts to enhance its strengths and minimize its limitation. For example, print media has limitation of space, television has time limitations. In both these cases, news writing has to be in a manner so that it fits the slot. Likewise, online media suffers from credibility deficit as it works under fast-paced news environment with very little time for verification of the content, and hence fear of fake news largely looms. The online media has to therefore take additional precautions while writing, checking, cross-checking, double-checking the facts before it is uploaded live on digital platforms. Like other media, the online medium is also a collection of breaking news, developing stories, features, articles, editorials, analytical articles, and so on. Each has its own style of writing depending upon the subject and treatment given to it. Apart from these, online media has also multimedia content in form of audio, video, and live streaming of events, which do not need much writing but has to have a headline and tags and meta tags to be picked up by search engines. In certain cases, subtitles are also required if the media content is in regional or foreign language. Another distinguishing feature of online media is its interactive nature, which needs a different kind of approach and writing style. It has to be such that it forces the people to like, debate, comment, or share it amongst their friends and relatives. You must have read the communication between the source and the receiver takes place when both of them have the same frame of reference. It means that news writer should know his or her reader's choice, preferences in the need for information and news. In fact, the knowledge of audience, it is said, is more important than the subject itself for an effective communication. As digital news writers work on real time, the need for establishing creative connect is utmost important. A digital news writer addresses a diverse and heterogeneous set of people across the globe. The interest, attitude, experience of digital writer assumes a special significance. To be a good writer on a digital platform, the writer has to be widely read as it helps the reader to identify with him or her. Former chief editorial advisor of the New York Herald Tribune, Geoffrey Parsons, once said, "The richer the writer's background, the larger his ability to stimulate thought about anything." Writing for online media includes interface between the writer and the machine algorithm, which searches for it. As the content in digital media are searchable, they are written in a format and style so as to easily be picked up by search engines. The headlines need to have important keywords and newness that it wants to convey. When the news item is published, it forms the part of Universal Resource Locator (URL), which is crawled by the search engines and indexed for the further searches. Sometimes URL is inorganically created so as to include important keywords for easy search and display. As news websites receive a large number of page views through search engines, writing of URL is deliberately calibrated to maximize its reach. The destiny of the keyword in the story page and giving subheadings, pointers, adding pictures, infographics further enhances the value of the page and forms an important part of digital media writing. As the attention span of the reader on digital media is extremely low, headlines should be written in direct, effective, and communicative manner, without much jargons and superfluous content. The principle of brevity, clarity, creativity, and continuity is retained in digital media as in other media, leaving no chance of ambiguity. As more and more news content is accessed through smartphones these days, the content should be brief and to the point, conveying the important points. The reader should add his opinion or point of view, and neither should he editorialize it. Online writing versus print writing. Online media writing, as we mentioned earlier, did not come from being taught. Rather, it has evolved from writing of the other media, including print. Even now, a large portion of digital media content owes its existence to print media. As a consequence, it retains the printing style of writing, apart from including digital details and formatting. Sometimes headlines are changed so as to make it more search engine friendly and also to attract the eyeballs. In some cases, the paragraphs are broken into smaller ones without affecting the continuity of the story for the sake of making it easy for the eyes to read. Inverted pyramid style of news writing is favored for both print and digital media, as it includes important points in the first paragraph of the news story. A large number of news organizations have automated systems whereby print media content is converted into digital web pages with minimal manual intervention. It is only recently, with the arrival of independent news website, a separate and individual style of digital content writing is developing, albeit slowly. Many journalists from print media who have joined digital platforms have continued adhering to print media writing, thus providing little innovation to news narration on the new media platform. Another important factor of influencing the writing of print and online media is that of periodicity. Periodicity of publication has significant impact on style of news writing and its dissemination. Newspaper has news product cycle of 24 hours, that is till the next paper is printed. Digital media involves real-time news production and hence implicitly needs to convey the immediacy of the news in its news writing. While the print stories stand solo means it has no relevance or reference to earlier stories, new stories on digital platform can have references to earlier stories through hyperlinking. The writing style on digital platform calls for more flexibility with innate understanding of the past coverage of the related news. Hyperlink is provided to the already written text or at times separately embedded so as to bring it to the reader's notice. Another feature that provides flexibility to digital platform is the ability to edit already published stories or adding or updating it. In print media, a new story which is once printed cannot be undone, but on the digital platform it can be edited and corrected. The online writers can make best use of such features. Online writing versus writing for radio and television. There is a lot of similarity between writing style of digital platform, radio and television. They address the audience directly and style of writing and presentation is often conversational, colloquial and simple. Literary and technical jargons are avoided. One of the reasons for similarity is that they all work in sync on digital media and form part of multimedia, which has come to occupy special significance on digital platform. In fact, online media is combination of all these three. It is because of this feature that they prefer to follow the same script and style across the media. These days, radio and television news channels are increasingly making use of digital platforms to reach out to audiences across the globe, as it does not need broadcasting infrastructure. Although they are independent of each other, they can beautifully combined and optimized on the digital media platform with a common style of writing and presentation. As you know, radio is completely dependent on sound bites, is a shared medium and gives liberty of creative imagination to its reader. As a result, it is often called theater of the mind. It involves preparing a rundown script which has element of speech, sound effect and music. Writing for radio must be simple, precise, direct and brief and should use familiar words to sustain listeners' interest. These features of radio script writing are quite akin to friendly news website. Both convey a sense of immediacy, being real time in their reach and their presentation. Likewise, a television script writer transforms the visual content into spoken words, which is then broadcast for general consumption. Almost all television news channels these days use YouTube, a digital platform, to reach out to global audience. The headline, description and content of videos are written in a way to make it easy and searchable on search engines. Now we come to syntax of online writing. Syntax is arrangement of words and sentences to convey an idea and meaning. For online media, there are unwritten rules that a writer adheres to while writing news stories. Unlike literature, news is written for information and for people who may not have high literacy level. Keeping the level of audience in mind, online writing demands simple and short sentence structure which are easily comprehensible. The language used is a matter of fact and direct instead of being long, winding, and beating around the bush. The purpose is to convey information and opinion directly, leaving no chance of ambiguity. Likewise, the words used should not have any double meaning or complicated sentence structure. Then the number of words in each sentence should not exceed 16 to 18 and a single idea needs to be conveyed in one sentence. Use of complex sentences are best avoided while writing stories, although they are often used in feature writing as part of creative liberty. Writing style, language. As mentioned earlier, the language of news writing should be simple, clear, and brief. As news is supposed to convey facts, important points should come first, followed by less and least important. Readers need to get the complete facts after reading the first paragraph. Rest are elaboration on what has been earlier written. It is a good practice to use colloquial and conversational language while sticking to the laid down framework of news writing. Use present progressive tense as much as possible to convey immediacy of the news. Keep the headlines in active voice and be specific rather than general in conveying the information to your readers. You should avoid using definite and indefinite articles in headline as it takes space and makes the URL long and winding and is not of much use for the search engines. Principles of clarity, conciseness, continuity, correctness, commonness, credibility, and completeness should be followed while attempting all genres of online writing. You should have a good functional vocabulary and know the synonyms of words, which will help you to avoid repeating the same words in a sentence. Choice of words and phrases. Words are symbols and carriers of meaning and should be used carefully. Strong words and superlatives like the best, finest, and brightest should be avoided as they are relative and we have no means to ascertaining the claim. The words you should use, the words you use should be concrete, specific, and should add weight to the credibility of what you write. You should also try to use short words, long words take additional space, and reading of them becomes a tongue twister. Use of words which are commonly understood and are easy should be favored in place of difficult word. It is often said, don't throw your readers to dictionary, otherwise your readers will throw you out of your job. Simplicity of words and language is the driving force of online media writing. Phrases which are foreign to target audience should be avoided. Instead of saying it was raining cats and dogs, it is better to say it was raining heavily. Similarly, don't use the word very too often in your writing to convey magnitude. Mark Twain once said that it is better to use the word damn instead of very, otherwise, your editor will delete it and the writing will be just as it should be. Simplicity of words and language is driving force of online media writing. Phrases which are foreign to targeted audience should be avoided. Instead of saying it was raining like cats and dogs, it is better that we use simpler terms to express it. Sentence construction. The rules of simplicity and clarity is applicable through all aspects of online media writing. Sentences from the bricks of the news edifice and hence they should convey its salient features clearly. It should be brief and crisp and convey concrete meaning with one idea in each sentence. It is advisable to use short sentences as they are easy to understand and take less time to comprehend. It is advisable to avoid long, convoluted sentences conveying multiple messages. If the sentence is long, it could be broken into smaller sentences, which at times may require rewriting. Ideally, a sentence should contain no more than 16 to 18 words. Punctuation marks should be used wherever necessary to convey the important idea. It is important that sentences flow effortlessly, one after the other, in a logical and gradual manner. Abrupt break and moving from one idea to another without any connection link should be avoided. Structure and paraphrasing. Reading a long text on a computer screen or mobile phone can be strenuous to the eye. That is one of the reasons why it is advisable to write short sentences and keep shorter paragraphs. It is better to break up the body text into smaller paragraphs, each containing not more than 7 to 8 lines. Each paragraph should convey an idea which should be logically taken forward in the next paragraph. Sometimes picture and infographics are used to break the monotony of the textual heavy page. Use bullet points and pointers to help highlight the important points in a news story. Although there is no fixed rule for paraphrasing or paragraphing and restructuring the body text, the online writers should keep in mind two important features of online behavior. First, the attention span of the reader is short and constantly flickering due to the diversions on the web page like advertisements and scrolls. Secondly, the story should be able to sustain the interest of the reader lest he or she leaves the page and moves to some other website. Platform-based online media writing. Online media writing is expansive and getting increasingly diverse in terms of content, devices, social media platforms. Each medium demands a unique treatment of its content. As the reader's profile vary from one platform to another, writing needs to be calibrated to meet the demand of that particular medium. For example, people on social media like Facebook and Twitter prefer short and crisp write-up, dominated by personal opinions and visuals, while Facebook encourages informal and personal content. Twitter is public, formal, and follows structured content. While writing for these mediums, one has to keep in mind the prevailing norms of the medium. News websites and blogs. By now, you must be familiar with different kinds of content in news website and their writing styles. Blogs are another form of writing which find place both on news website and personal web pages. It is a personal and informal form of writing. The subjects of blog could vary widely from travelogue, technical writing on gadget, health, entertainment, or simple commentary on news and politics. Commercial establishments and private companies make use of blogs to explain their policy and decision. In the online media, blogs are personal opinion on news, events, and does not generally adhere to the writing style too varies depending on bloggers' personal choice and preferences. Ideally, blogs should follow simple structure of introduction, middle, and conclusion. Writing for social networking sites. Social media writing has evolved into a specialized area of communication and is interestingly used by media organizations for breaking news as well as sharing other kinds of content. It helps them reach out to large diverse audience across the globe. Generally, a social media post is shorter teaser to attract the attention of the reader along with the link of the story on the website. Social interactive sites like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn have become popular places for exchanging news and information as well as personal opinion. A social media post should include the most interesting part of the story that has the ability to arouse sufficient interest in the readers to read the complete stories. Some media organizations have entered into an agreement with some social media sites to provide all their content to the readers. To ensure that you reach out to a wide audience, your writing has to be effective and it should hit the bullseye. Interactive writing. Unlike print and television, interactivity is the most distinguishing feature of online media writing. An online media writer interacts with the reader in real time and gets feedback instantly. An online writer should continuously engage with the reader and should try to answer the query the reader has raised, which are posted under the comment section. Some news websites have made it mandatory for readers to register themselves on the site before posting comment, but a large number of them allow free posting of comments on news articles, but these are moderated. An online writer can invite opinion from readers to know what they feel about a particular subject. Sometimes opinion poll is a good example of interactive writing can be used for the purpose. Another important aspect of online writing is social media etiquettes. These are the basic social media etiquettes that demands of social media etiquettes differ from one platform to another. For example, reposting someone's content on Instagram requires much more care than retweeting someone on Twitter. On the flip side, there are some basic do's and don'ts that are essentially applied to all platforms. First, do not be overly promotional. Try not to message all your customers asking them to buy your product and avoid sharing constant advertisements on your page. Make sure your social profiles are blend of promotional and valuable content. Avoid over automation while scheduling your post in advance and automating analyticals is helpful. Don't automate everything. Some things still need a human touch. Handle your hashtags carefully. Avoid using too many hashtags at once. Even on Instagram, where you can use 30 hashtags in a single caption, it's important not to overdo it. Don't badmouth your competition. Don't be petty. Say negative things about your competitors and online will harm your reputation more than it hurt theirs. Be authentic and genuine. Do not try to be something you are not. Remember that your customers can learn whenever and whatever they need to know about your brand online today, and things like authenticity can definitely go a long way. Why social media etiquettes are important? Organizations can't just delete messages that generate poor reactions anymore. A single mistake can make or break business. Social media etiquette is often baked into the rules of social media policy for modern brands. This policy usually shares complete code of conduct for anyone who interacts with social channel. Protection against the legal and security issues. If you exist in an industry where stringent privacy and compliance law, your system will keep you on the right side of the regulation. Empower staff. When employees know how to share content safely online, they can represent and advocate for your organization without hampering your reputation. Defend your brand. Social etiquettes ensure that everyone who interacts with your brand on social media will see a respectable professional business. So in this session, we have dealt with the basics of online writing, social media etiquettes. Thank you.